is Haley with North Star Goldens, and I'm here today with Milo. And we're going to give you a brief training demonstration and show you what to expect with the training that he's had, and teach you some of the hand signals and things. So, Milo's done a great job. He's got a great personality, and we really think you're going to enjoy him. So we're excited for him to come to your family. Basically the training program can be broken down into 4 main areas. There's house training, leash training, obedience commands, and manners. And we're going to start with obedience commands and manners. And that's the bulk of what we're going to be showing you here today. The first of our manners is anytime he's released from anything, a crate, coming in and out of your home, getting out of the car, a kennel or your yard, a gate. Anytime he's released, he needs to wait for verbal permission, your verbal permission, before he's allowed to come out. And that kind of sets the foundation for our training program, which is we're replacing physical control with verbal control. And we'll show you how to do that. Okay. Okay. Good boy. Good boy. So he needs to wait for your release, and the release is okay. And that's both a release, and it's also a marker that tells him that he did the right thing. And it's very highly motivating for him to hear that word. Good boy. So that's the first of our manners. And the next of our manners is you want him to sit automatically for a greeting. Basically, anytime he approaches you, makes eye contact with you. And this is a very difficult one for people to maintain, especially with puppies, because what's the first thing we want to do when a puppy comes up to us? We want to bend down and say hello, right? We want to pet him and love on him. And a lot of people even invite him to jump up on us, which is fine when they're puppies, but when they get to be a large adult dog, that can be a very bad habit. And so it's something that we want to prevent right from the beginning. So make sure you make it a habit as a family to always ask and wait for that sit before you give him any kind of attention, before you bend down and say hello, before you give him a scratch on the ears and petting and love, whatever. He's got to be sitting. And that does a couple things for you. Number one, it plants him. It gets him just planted so he's not all over the place. And number two, when his butt goes down, his eyes come up and he's looking to you for further direction, and you've got his attention. And so that's a really good habit to keep up with. Another one of his manners that he's been taught, good boy, is to have a very soft mouth and to use his lips and his tongue to be taking food and toys and things from your hand as opposed to his teeth. And this really helps with the puppy biting and the sharp puppy teeth that can be so obnoxious and can be a bad habit for dogs to grow into if they're really mouthy. So we really focused on teaching him to be soft with his mouth. And if he needs a reminder for whatever reason, if he gets grabby with his teeth, the cue is gently, to hold on to whatever you have and say gently, gently, and expect him to be soft and use bite inhibition is what it's called, and use his lips and his tongue to take things from your hand as opposed to his teeth. So that's the next of his manners. Another one of his manners that we sent you a video of previously and demonstrated is for his food. Anytime you feed him, which should be twice a day until he's an adult, then maybe once or twice a day, always take that opportunity to ask for him to sit and stay and wait to be released before he's allowed to eat. This really just contributes to and strengthens his bond with you as a leader, and lets him know that he cannot get what he wants without your permission, and he needs to look to you and do what you ask him to do before he gets what it is he wants. Good boy. Another one of his manners, good boy, is to release things on command. Good boy. Come on. You want it? You want it, Milo? You want the toy? You want the toy? Come on, go get it. I don't know if I can get him to grab it or not. But basically, if you get in the habit of pulling things out of dog's mouth, that's a really bad habit. So you want him to actively open his mouth and release things to you on command. You want it? Ready? I'm not going to get him to grab the toy. But when you say drop it, you want him to open his mouth and release it to you on command. And so that's a really handy habit. And that manner leads us into just one other comment on his manners, and that is keeping him oriented to toys. And with kids especially, and I really recommend with families, that when you're playing with Milo, that you use toys, because dogs and puppies by nature are very oral, and they want to put their mouth and their teeth on something. And so if you give them a toy that's appropriate for them to put their mouth and their teeth on, that gives them a healthy outlet for that, and then they're not having to resort to grabbing your clothes or your hands or your ankles or whatever else. So yeah, anyway, that pretty much covers the manners portion of it. Now we're going to go through the obedience commands. We're going to show you come, sit, stay, down, down, stay, crate, drop it, watch me, and go to bed. Come. Come. Okay, good boy. So come is a foundational command, which means it's one that we've been teaching from the very beginning and getting a lot of repetitions in. And one of the reasons for that is it's going to be one of the most critical commands for you to maintain and to have over time. And funny enough, it's usually the first command that people kill. And the reason for that is we usually don't use the command come unless we're doing something he's not going to like he's in trouble, or it's time to leave the park, or it's time to be done playing, or looking at the cat, or whatever. And so the dog, if that's the only time you ever use the command come, they quickly learn to think it through and think whether it's going to be worth it or not. And that's why dogs learn when you say come. I'm going to wait for a second for the cat. Get in the habit of when you say come, they'll look at you and they'll come if they feel like it, or maybe they'll ignore you or even bolt the other direction because they don't want to come because it's not fun. It's going to end the fun for them. So a couple things that I really recommend families do to maintain that command. Number one, use the rule of 10 to 1. Call your dog to come to you 10 times a day for no reason other than to give them a treat or a little tidbit, to give them some love and some petting, to give them a game of tug or to play with a toy, to give them their breakfast and their dinner. Those are excellent times to call your dog to come to you. And if those are the reasons he's getting called to come to you, then he's never going to hesitate on that. Another thing that I recommend too is if he is in trouble, unless you have to use the command come for whatever reason, I just don't use it. I go and I hook the leash on and we go. And that just keeps the integrity of that command very positive, and a positive association in his mind. So he doesn't start thinking it through every time, wondering if it's going to be worth it or if he's in trouble. So that's come. Another thing that I really recommend is for the first couple months, when your dog gets home, always let him drag a leash around. And when you're outside, hook up a long line that's 15-20 feet long. It can even be just 550 cord with a clip on it. That's what I use. And let him drag that around. That way, because when dogs hit adolescence, a teenage phase, they start to push limits and question what happens if they choose not to. And when that moment comes, if you can step on that line and let him know it's not an option, that's really going to send home the message that it's not an option. He always has to come. Okay? So that's the first of our commands. The next of our commands, and this is the first of 3 hand signals that we're going to show you, is to sit. Come on. Milo. Little scoop up over the nose, just like that. That's the hand signal for sit. And it helps you remember that's how we taught him to sit, is we lured his nose up until his butt went down. Good boy. And the second of our hand signals is a stay. Hey, make a stop sign with your hand, just like that. Stay. Okay, good boy. Good boy. The stay, and we've kept it fairly short here for your demonstration today, but he's got a phenomenal puppy stay, a really great sit, stay, and down stay. Especially puppies have a very short attention span, and most people are really excited about that, and so they never ask for any more than that. And you're missing out on so much if you don't continue to build on that a little bit every day. So I really recommend that you just take some time and add what we call the 3 Ds. You add some distance, duration, and distractions, and just add a little something every day to build that stay up. And you can easily get a 1 to 2 hour stay by the time he's a year old, and that's phenomenal obedience. And all it takes is just asking for a little bit more every day. Our third hand signal is a down. Start him out in a sit, and then make your hand flat and take it down to the floor or the ground. Good boy, stay. Okay, good boy. Good boy. And just like that, he's been taught to hold the stay in both the sitting and down positions with various distractions. You know, we've introduced all kinds of different things. There's been animals, kids around, different environments, but always add a little something to it so you can get that solid obedience of a stay. Go to bed. Good boy. Let me get you over here. Okay, ready? Go to bed. Okay, good boy. So with the go to bed command, he's been taught to go to his bed on command. And I don't care whether he's sitting, standing, or lying down. All I want is I want him to be completely on his bed. And when I send him to his bed, nope, okay. When I send him to his bed, it's an implied stay. He needs to stay there until he's released. Okay, just like you would from the crate or anything else. Good boy. Watch me. Okay, good boy. So with watch me, see if I can get him distracted again. Watch me. Okay, good boy. All you're looking for is for his eyes to snap up to yours and to meet your eye contact. It's a very easy thing for them to do. It's one of the other foundational commands that we teach from the very beginning. And it can be a life-saving command. If your dog's running out into traffic or chasing a cat maybe, or you've dropped something on the floor that you don't want him to get into, you can use watch me and get his eyes to snap up to you. And what makes watch me so powerful, good boy, is the way dogs are designed psychologically is they are not like us. They're not capable of looking at one thing and thinking about something else at the same time. So wherever their eyes are is 100% where their mind is. So if you have a tool to be able to get his eyes very quickly, then you can essentially distract him from any distraction. So I also really highly recommend that you use the rule of 10 to 1 with watch me as well. Just use it 10 times a day for no reason other than just to give him a love, some play, some attention, a tidbit or a treat, maybe a little piece of leftover, so that he does not fail when that critical time comes and you need him to look up to you. So that's watch me. And that kind of covers our obedience commands. We'll show you what to expect with the leash training now. Good boy. And you'll notice too that he's kind of naturally oriented to his bed. We do that here in the training program. Whenever we give him a toy or a bone or something to chew on, we take him to his bed to do that. And I recommend that you continue to do that because it helps him identify his space. So when he wants to relax, he can go to his space. And another thing that I recommend, especially with families with small children, I don't know what your family situation is, but if a dog goes to his bed or his crate on his own, that he's off limits until he comes out again. And that's just kind of showing some respect for his personal space and keeping him from being overstimulated, which is something that's very common with homes with little kids, especially with a new puppy. The new puppy is very exciting. Everybody wants to interact with them. But we need to respect their space like we ask them to respect ours. So, okay, so with leash walking, there's 2 commands that we use. There's let's go to get them walking, and then easy if they pull ahead. And basically what you want is you just want them to maintain this kind of loose J shape in the leash and pay attention to you and change directions when you change directions and sit when you stop automatically. If they forget to sit, ask for that sit every time you stop. And again, that gets them planted so you're not leaving them with a void where they're wandering around sniffing stuff. It gives them a job and a purpose and keeps them focused on you. Let's go. So you want them to stay with you. Let's go. Let's go. There. Okay. Good boy. Look up at you. Let's go. Okay. Good boy. And then when you stop, ask for that sit. There you go. So you're not leaving him with a blank space. He's got a job and a purpose. And it's important when you use the command easy that you don't continue to walk and just pull and walk and say easy, easy, easy. People, it's very easy to get in a habit of doing that, especially with a young puppy who doesn't weigh very much or pull very hard. What that's going to do is teach them to push through you and start to ignore you. So you have to completely stop and wait for him to put that slack back in the leash before you, before you progress on your walk. And a lot of time has been put into leash training. We've leash trained these dogs around a lot of distractions, rabbits, chickens, kids, you name it. And you're going to be going to a new environment and doing the same thing. So make sure you continue to ask for these appropriate responses and expect him to keep a loose leash. And expect him to sit when you stop. And so that's what you can expect with the leash training. Good boy. And so that just leaves us with the house training, which we can't really demonstrate here for you today, but he's achieved the standards. He'll crate for a full 8 to 10. Oh, we didn't send him. Did we do crate command? Maybe I did that.
I can't remember.
I think I forgot the crate command. Let me show you. He'll go into his crate on command. Crate. Crate. Good boy. If he ever hesitates, just tap or even toss something in. But I just wanted to make a comment briefly about crate training and all the time and care that's been put into crate training. We really put a large focus on crate training and getting them to relax and enjoy being in their crate. And the reason for that is because the crate is going to be one of the most handy tools you're ever going to have raising a puppy. You know, if you need to just leave the house for a couple of hours, if you just need to take your mind off your dog, maybe if somebody comes to the home who's not comfortable with dogs, you want to have somewhere in the home that you can just put your dog in the crate and he can relax and be happy and not be a distraction to the family. You don't have to come home to a chewed up couch or potty training accidents or something like that. So make sure you make good use of the crate, at least for that first year. It's going to be a very powerful tool for you. And, you know, we've gone through the whole whining and everything so that you don't have to go through that. He'll sleep for a full 8 to 10 hours at night without needing a potty break. Having said that, when he first goes home, he's going to be going through some stress, and it's very common for them to get a loose stool. So for that first week or two, if he needs a break in the night to go potty, by all means give him a break and take him out for a potty break. But again, just ask for him to wait for your release. Even though he wants out, he can't get out until you let him know. Okay. Good boy. But yeah, that goes along with the house training. He can hold his potty for a full 2 hours at least without needing a potty break during the day. And he consistently goes and rings the bell to let us know he needs to go potty. Now he knows where to ring the bell at our house. He's going to need to learn how to do it at your house. And we go into that in detail in the manual. Just put a little something on that's going to catch the attention of his nose on the bell. And when he touches it, say, okay, outside. You want to go outside? Let's go outside. And designate a very specific spot in your yard and take him to that spot several times. I recommend that when families first get their puppies that you set an alarm on your phone for every 30 minutes and take him out every 30 minutes, whether he needs to go potty or whether he asks to go potty or not. That's just going to set you both up for success. So he gets lots of repetitions in, knows where the bell is, knows where the potty spot is, trusts you to reward him and praise him for going potty in the correct spot. So he's just not left in a new environment wondering what he's supposed to do when he feels the urge to go potty, okay? So he's done an excellent job with potty training. Just make sure you continue to reinforce that and show him what's expected. And he's going to come home ready to go. So, yeah. And again, if you have any questions with that, let us know. But he's done a great job, and we're excited for you to bring them home. So thank you.